Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about 5 keys to understanding your cash flow. Hi, I'm Scott Frank, founder of Stone Steps Financial and certified financial planner. Cash flow is something that a lot of people don't really think much about when they think about personal finance, but it's really the lifeblood of personal finance. So there are 5 keys that we want to look at whenever we're helping clients with their cash flow. The first, pretty simplistically, is your income. What are your sources of income? For a lot of people, they think, oh, I just make a salary and maybe I get a bonus. And sometimes we forget because restricted stock units are stock that they're actually a form of income, right? So, and we'll go in more depth on this later, but restricted stock units, remember when they vest, the moment they vest, they're considered ordinary income for us in the year. For most of us who have stock compensation, we're gonna have those 3 main forms. We're gonna have our salary, our bonus if we get one in cash, and our restricted stock units. Now, you might have other sources of income. If you own a rental property and it's cash flow positive, you could have that for income. You could also have income from your investments, right? So we want to take all of those, add them all up, and look at what's the total income that we have for our cash flow. That's the first step to looking at our cash flow. The next thing we want to look at are the 4 main components that we think about with clients for cash flow. And those are your savings, your spending, your debt payments, and your taxes. So let's just dive into all 4 of those briefly. For savings, what we care about is where are you saving to help you work toward either financial freedom for yourself or some major goal that you have that's not really consumption related, right? So sometimes people will think like, hey, I'm saving to my 401k, so I'm maxing that out. Yeah, 23 grand for the year. That's great. And, I'm doing that back to a Roth, and we'll talk more about those in the future. So I'm, putting 7,000 in there. So I'm saving 30 grand total. I'm doing great. And then they'll be like, oh yeah, and I'm saving 2,000 a month for that big trip I'm going to take to, Italy this summer, 24 grand. Well, hold on. Actually, we would say that 2,000 a month for the trip to Italy, we would add that to your spending rather than putting it into savings. Yes, you're saving it, but you're saving it for consumption, right? Things that we're saving for a goal like retirement or maybe purchasing a home or sending a child to college, those are going to be things that we're going to think of as savings. From there, we're going to go look at what do you actually spend? And what you spend, we're going to break into 2 categories. The 2 categories are going to be the debt payments that we're making. So we can actually look at, what are those debt payments and how do they relate to the amount of total income that you have, right? So the things that you're going to see commonly there are going to be your mortgage payment. You might see your car payment, right? Maybe student loans if you have some of those from the past. Typically, for most of our clients, we're not really going to see credit card debt being something that's built up and getting paid down over time. Normally, they're using it for consumption and paying it off at the end of the month. So it's really just spending in that instance. But we want to see what percentage of our total income, we had that income number before, what percentage is going to savings and what percentage is going to spending. And spending is going to be 2 components. It's going to be that debt component, and then it's going to be everything else. So everything else, I could really think of it as just what do we need to live life? So the things that we normally have to pay, like our mortgage and the debt payments, and then everything else that's there that's going to help you just live life as you normally do. And then finally, we're going to go look at taxes, and we're going to say, what are we paying in taxes, right? Now, between those 4 things in total, we should add up to about 100%. And I say about because if you think about it, your debt payment's probably going to be fixed, and your savings we're probably going to know really, really well. But the 2 things that change are your normal spending is variable. We just as human beings normally make the assumption that we spend something, but we almost always are spending slightly more than we assume, unless you track it really, really diligently, which most people don't do. And then finally on taxes looks backward. So it's always looking at what happened last year, not what's happening this year. But with those 4 components, savings, spending, debt payments, and taxes, you can actually learn a lot about what are you doing in your life, what matters most to you in your life, what are you prioritizing, what kind of flexibility do you have in your life right now, right? If you have a really, really high savings rate and you have a fairly small spend rate and debt rate, and your tax rate is what it is, you actually have a lot of flexibility to choose, maybe change a career or choose to retire faster, right? If you choose to bring on a big debt, you might lock yourself into a level of income that you can't easily walk away from, right? So this tells us a number of things, and it also shows us what do we want to focus on based on what your goals are in relation to where you are now, to help you either stay on the path or to change paths. So those are the 5 things that we look at when it comes to cash flow. I hope this was helpful for you.